Greetings, my fellow sellswords. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Battle Brothers, Episode 6, Foaling Around. Flash, the standard bearer, with experience with polearms, seems to be the right fit. And Lars, inheriting his old spear. Einar Volunkrud shoves a sizable crate into your hands before he or even you say a word. Look at that! The cargo I need delivering. Already found someone to ship it off. What a wonder. He drops the theatrics. I need that taken to Rothenbach, where a man by the name of Abra the Younger is waiting for it. It may look small, but I'm willing to pay good crowns to make sure it gets there safe and sound. Are you interested? It's not the kind of work we're looking for. We'll head east towards Mittensfell. We have good relationships there. We'll also stop by Eisenstein on the way. Assessing our current relationships, we're only really friends with Friedewald and Mittersfeld, and maybe we could get good contracts there that don't seem shady, especially given that we're now bannered. Berthold, the counselor, looks at some books, perusing what appears to be a good deal of numbers. I got a shipment of particular goods going to Mittersfeld. They're leaving soon. Are you up for it? Yeah, we accept your offer. We were heading there anyway. So we'll escort your caravan, no problem. Mittersfeld is now well supplied. You've made it, having delivered the caravan just as you'd promised to the counselor you would. The caravan leader thanks you with payment of crowns. He seems rather thankful for the fact that he's alive, briefly regaling you with a tale of when he barely escaped an ambush by brigands. You nod as if you give two poops about what's happened to this man. The tools and supplies are rather cheap here in Mittersfeld, and stocking up would be wise, as is the ammunition. The copper ingots might be worth something to another town if bought here, so we purchase both, running our coin rather thin. So we take a look at the contracts available, and Lars the Elder cuts right to the point. I've got a shipment. What it is doesn't concern you, but it's going to Alan. And like many folks, I'm worried about the brigands on the road. Is it something we're interested in? It pays very little, but since there's no other jobs in town, we accept. Heading out on a trade caravan to the northeast. A woman jumps out of the tree line beside the path. Oh, thank the gods, my prayers have been answered. Please come quick. My grandpa has fallen down the well. She turns and hurries away as though you've already agreed to help her. Lars Goodhand glances at you and shrugs. We can either agree to help her or just say that we have no time for this. The group contemplate whether or not this might be a trap set. But it is agreed we should help if we can. You decide it's worth your time and go and take a look. The old man was doing repairs on the wellhead, a wooden framework meant to cover its opening, and it broke apart and sent him plunging down. Staring into the well, you find the man staring back at you. He gives us a wave. Oi there, fellas. I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm actually being pickled now that I think about it. Right. Lars Goodhand throws down a rope, and the old man ties it around himself. You and the sellsword pull the woman's grandfather up and back into dry land. He shakes your hand and thanks you cordially. Farking hell, glad you guys came when you did. I was about to poo and piss like no other. Let me tell you, this ain't my first time going down a well. 5 years ago, I'd done it, while repairing the wellhead. Because the wellhead breaks down often, you see. And it's not really a wellhead. We just call it that because we're lazy. Back in my day, we called it, I done forgot. I guess a wellhead makes sense now. As if I'm not well in the head. Oh, still got it. I was quite the charmer in my days, you see. And it's not often I get put the practice in. My wife died 10 years ago, and the one prior to that left me 20 winters ago. I say winters because that's when she left me in the winter. It was a brutal one, and I had asked her to help chop the wood lest we freeze. She said she wasn't going to do that and to take care of the kids at the same time. I had kids with her, as well as with the second wife, 5 total. One died, measles. Another disappeared, so he's probably dead. I tried to be honest to myself about it, but there's hope. If a random stranger was to be found in the forest to save me in the nick of time, maybe my son survived the battle with the Greenskins. Ain't heard of him, though. I pray to the old gods, and even that Davkul fella every now and then, and again. You know of Davkul? I'm not sure what to make of it. One time this man came by with a scar on his forehead. Said he'd show me the way of darkness. I said, I see darkness every time I nap. This scarred fella said, one day I won't wake. And I said, good, ha! And then the scarred bastard starts getting upset with me. He drones on, and you look for Lars Goodhand, only to find him stepping out of the women's home, the lady herself carrying a bit oblivious warmth on her face. You retrieve your sellsword and leave before the old man lops your head off with the most long-winded, one-sided conversation ever. Well, at least Lars is euphoric. As the company takes a break, you decide to address the men. Brothers, I want everyone to know Battle Brothers are not just cutthroats and errand boys, but skilled fighters. What do you tell the men the company will set out to do? I know the soles of your feet are itching for the open road. We need to spread word about the company. Let's pay a visit to every settlement far and wide. Oh, hold on, there's 4 options. Or, we fight well, but we need to be better organized in case things get dire. I shall name a sergeant to rally you on the battlefield. Let us set aside our skirmishes for now and seek to defeat a group of at least a dozen opponents. This is how our name will be known throughout the land. Or, we shall get the company's strength up to 12 men. It will make us a formidable force and allow us to take on more profitable work. The men agree. A sergeant to rally seems ideal. Have at least 1 man with the Rally the Troops perk. You will also need space enough in your inventory for a new item. This Dawnland Road is often guarded by brigands. No wonder we were paid to deliver this. Old battle sites dot the landscape where ambushes laid bare the goods of the Allen trade roads. Reaching Allen, the caravan leader turns to you, large satchel in hand. Thanks for getting us here, sellsword. You take it and hand it over to Otto Ducky for counting. He nods when he's finished. Allen is now well supplied. Our coin is low. We'll have to find contracts soon. Casimir the Elder angrily shakes his head. Brigands have been tearing up these parts for too long. I sent a lad, Gerbert's son, to go find them. And you know what? Only his head came back. Of course, these idiot brigands sent one of their own to deliver it. We captured and interrogated him, so now we know where they're at. The man leans back, peddling his thumbs over one another. I do not have the men, but I do have the crowns. What say I slip some your way and you slip a sword theirs? He opens the palm of his hands. I'm tied on crowns, so before you ask, this is all I have right now. You'll get 150 in advance and another 620 when the job is done. We accept your offer. There's an overgrown homestead to the southwest, and our men, at dusk, set out. The enemies seem to be brigand raiders. It might be best to wait for daybreak. Six brigand raiders are seen on the horizon, with strong arms and armor. Our men, ready and waiting. Crimson knocks back a bolt and lets loose on a brigand raider. Despite being sure that his shot would hit, it went wide. Finally, a shot lands on a lightly armored raider. He recoils at the attack. JT lunges his boar spear into the gut of the raider. His neck is grazed, and he is near death. We close in, surrounding them with our superior numbers. Lars, the newest recruit, takes his spear, cocks it back, and aims for the surrounded raider, slaying him where he stands. Flash, our new bannerman, aims true to the brigand raider and cuts deep into his chainmail shirt. Shots deflected and dodged. So far, we've avoided any damage. Alfred, seeing how wavering the southern brigand raider is, lets loose an arrow and spots the brigand raider in the middle, ready to flee. Crimson knocks back a bolt and finally lands a target. The man in front of Otto Ducky. Tankwith takes a step forward and sees if he can't sneak an arrow past the shield and armor. Unfortunately, he cannot. Lars, feeling lucky after his original attack, bashes the head of the brigand raider, forcing him also to flee. Flash, seeing that the two in the south are wavering and routing, sees an opportunity to surround them. Otto raises his shield and slices the chest of the raider in the north. Bash their helmets off, they cry, trying to maximize. Off with his head, Mojo says. No time. All but one raider stands willing to fight. This fight, far easier than originally expected. The fleeing raiders are quickly dispatched. All that is left is the one in the north with a pierced hand, also wavering from the battle. We're gonna run them down. There's no way we want to revisit them. And with short work, they die. Most of the loot, sadly, was destroyed in the fray, with some trifling equipment will be repurposed. The men set back to return to Allen for the payday they much greatly need, as Crowns is running thin. Casimir the Elder leans back in his chair, folding his hands over his lap. Cell swords don't sit right with many folks. I suppose on the account that all y'all killing and destroying whole villages on changed whim, but I admit you've done good. He nods to the corner of the room where a wooden chest lays unopened. It's all there, but I won't be offended if you need to count it. You do count it, and indeed, it's all there. A man walks up to you and holds his scroll halfway between he and you. My name is Voldemar, representative of Raban of Allen, and speaking on behalf of the good people of Allen, we seek your services, mercenary. You find Raban of Allen reading a scroll. He throws the paper at you and asks you to read off the names. The handwriting is difficult, but not more so than the names themselves. You stop and apologize, stating that you are not from these parts. The man nods and takes the scroll back. 'Tis all right, Sellsword. If you were wondering, those were the names, men, women, and children who have passed in the last week. The last week? There was a lot of names on that list. The man, seemingly to read you, nods somberly. Aye, we're in a bad way. So many lives lost. We believe this to be the work of foul creatures, beasts beyond our ability to reason. Obviously, we'd like you to go find and destroy them. Would you be interested in such a task? What is it worth to you? Judging from experience, 60 crowns in advance and 260 when the job is done. Taking a look at the prospective men to be hired, Ike, a farmhand, is offered a contract. He's outfitted in an old gambeson and offered a wooden shield. We'll find you a weapon, Ike. We purchase an old reinforced flail from the market and offer him a simple helmet as well. Generously, Tankwith offers to switch helmets with him, as Ike is far more likely to sustain damage. A company of 12 in the reserve. We're ready to go. Footprints can easily be spotted heading to the south and southeast. Direwolves it is. Combat to be engaged. Direwolves are fast and full of frenzy. We ought to be ready and defensive. We've seen them once and they tore apart that group of bandits. We shan't follow the same fate. Tankwith lets loose 2 bolts and they both miss. Crimson follows up, but hits. Alfred chooses the north of 2 targets. Both 1 of 2 shots connect. Ike, being inexperienced, decides to run quickly and close the distance. Hopefully, his tactics are not flawed. Papa G sees that without backup, he'll folly and runs to his aid. Lars dispatches the first direwolf, and the second one is ready to flee as well. Good calculus, it seems. Making sure the flanks aren't exposed, the men round around the enemies. Tall and sturdy kite shields easily deflect the direwolves' initial volley. Armor absorbs subsequent attacks. The men are eager to dispatch direwolves. This, they think, would be a very good claim to fame. We have them utterly surrounded, outnumbered. And our gear is sturdy, and our moods stable. The direwolves are slowly dispatched one by one. They attack blindly and frenzied, but ineffective. Only one remains. It's fleeing. The battle has been won. Luckily, some of the unusually large wolf pelts can be salvaged from the fight, as well as some strange meat, hopefully sold in the nearest market. The beasts are slain. You order your men to take their pelts as evidence. Raban should be most happy to see the pelts. And back to Alan we go. The strange meat is sold off so as to not poison our men, and our men get ready to set foot towards Mitterfell, hopefully being able to sell the proceeds. But first, Friedewald. With any luck, they have not fully rebuilt, and the supplies that we have can be sold off at high profit. Fortunately for Friedewald, but unfortunately for us, they have recovered from recent raids. Guntrim of Friedewald takes a book from the shelf. When he sets it on the table, dust or maybe even ash plume outwards. He thumbs slowly, page to page. Do you believe in monsters? We nod, yes. The man thumbs another page and looks at you. We believe monsters have come to Friedewald. We believe it's why people are going missing. Understand where this is going? I want you to find these make-believe creatures and kill them. Are you interested? He's willing to pay 150 in advance and another 600 when the job is done. We accept. Footsteps are seen to the north-northeast, and our men get ready for the next battle. We're well supplied. We haven't sustained any injuries recently. We should find these beasts in short work. It's 6 direwolves spotted over the mountain. They're fleeing to the west. Through the Druid's Grove and into the Baleford they go. We caught up to them, but we're going to fall back and wait till morn. Dawn has arrived, and that should prove to be easier for our ranged archers and crossbowmen to hit the direwolves as they quickly flood in from the horizon. Autoducky holds the north flank, and the direwolves pivot to the south. Our archers let loose bolts and arrows, softening up the targets. Flash cuts one of the direwolves deep into the head. And then Ike, with high resolve, flanks one to the north. This direwolf, however, is frenzied. He'll be more difficult. JT holds a clever spear wall to prevent from easy flanking. Yet still likely that direwolves will get around the spear wall and come in from behind. The two in the front are fleeing now, one without its head. And Otto closes in to help the new Ike with the frenzied direwolf into the northern flanks. Ike adeptly manages to dodge the three frenzied direwolves' attacks, whereas Axeman Mojo cannot. As predicted, the one that's coming up from behind shows itself, avails itself, and is ready to be shot. Two arrows land, piercing the direwolf, and Crimson readies his bolts to help Ike in the north, who's getting overwhelmed. Mr. Mojo, with his tattered armor, knows he's going to have to cut through these direwolves quickly if he is to survive. His aim is true, and he smashes one thoroughly. The other, easily dispatched. Otto closes the gap between him and the frenzied direwolf, and JT locks up the southern one into combat so as to protect the bowman. Robert closes in to help his friend Mojo, with the one going toe-to-toe. And Lars cuts the one in the top, deeply into his head, ready to flee, pierced cheek and all. Provided we can protect ourselves from the frenzied direwolf, this seems to be a sure fight. The frenzied direwolf flails, but no attacks connect. The crossbowman readies. Crimson lets one loose, and it misses. Two more shots ring out from Alfred to the south, and they miss as well, but Flash, ready to put this southern one down, connects easily. Two down, he says. He's like the lumberjack from the fairy tales, slaying the wolves to protect Little Red. Robert takes a stand forward, eager to get another kill under his belt, surrounding the direwolf by tall shields to protect our men. And the last direwolf is now fleeing and retreating. But we're going to run them down. It has nowhere to go. With the quarry cornered, Crimson easily dispatches the last. And now we have a great full stash inventory of pelts to sell. With the battle over, you have the men starting to collect pelts to take back to Guntram, your employer. When you step into Guntram's room, he recoils almost instantly. What in the hell of the gods is in your hand, sellsword? You hold up the nape of a pelt. Black blood ropes out from the neck, spatters on the floor. One of the beasts you were looking for, if you need evidence of the rest. I've got those outside. The man holds his hands up, staying you. One is sufficient for my belief. Very well, sellsword. Your pay will be with Lebrach, a councilman you probably have passed in the halls. He's got the ugly mug on him. He'll be carrying 600 crowns as promised. The man takes another look at the beast and slowly shakes his head. May the dead and their survivors find peace in the passing of those foul creatures. The men, seeing that their purses boon, think it prudent to head to a larger city in order to purchase some well-deserved gear. They head west along the Druid's Grove Road, which has only recently been protected from direwolves. Garnerswold may just have the equipment they're looking for. Nothing is being sold on the open market, but perchance the overpriced armorer might have something nice. The men drool over some of the amazing armor, but the price tag has them recoiling. They'll earn this another way, they think. The men wanting to spend their coin think that heading back to Allentown might be wise. They're going to cut through the Belford, though, rather than taking the well-traveled road. Coming up to the town during nightfall, at least the tavern is open. If you're looking for work, the rumor has it that Eisenstein is the place to be. Pay for a round of drinks, and pay for some additional rumors. Brigands and raiders are the bane of us traveling merchants. Just outside of Cobmanhaven, they were ambushed and robbed. Again, another good lead. Allentown is currently well supplied, so we're going to wait here for the morn, because it will be good to buy our supplies in a well-supplied town. The grain we have will spoil soon, so we'll have to add to our food. Despite well supplied, the prices are still fairly high. Many men to hire, so if we ever suffer losses, here would be a good place to search. Eisenstein, they said, had good work, and the roads outside of Cobmanhaven have bandits. West we shall go. Entering Allen, it isn't long until Hartbert is bothered by the locals. He's slapping buckets out of their hands and kicking women into the mud. When an old man confronts him, the sellswords draw out his weapon. Other peasants beg that you put a stop to this at once. You need to stop this, Hartbert. It reflects badly upon the company. As Hartbert raises his weapon on high, you grab him by the forearm and bring it down. He swings around, looking at you sternly. The cowering old man backs off, soon collected by caretakers that shuttle him back inside before he gets himself hurt. A few other peasants linger around, watching with keen interest. You tell the sellsword to back down. He's paid to fight who you deem he should fight, not a bunch of peasants who are minding their own business. As Hartbert glances around, you realize you've left him no out to save face. In his eyes is a look that says he's about to kill you. It'd be the end of him, but he'd go out with a suicidal pride intact. But the look fades, and embarrassment and humiliation takes its place. He sheathes his weapon, spits, and remarks that he's only having some fun. He becomes dissatisfied. Save it for when you're paid to do this. Quickly assessing the moods of the company, he's the only dissatisfied. He is a brawler, after all, so he's likely to brawl. Also assessing some of the other traits of the new recruits, Ike is disloyal. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He's also always content in the reserve. Lars is bright, and also an apprentice. He'll rise fast. Northern Dawnland is uncharacteristically empty, and as the afternoon drones on, the men cannot wait to spend their coin for better gear. The marketplace is bustling with bakers ready to hawk their bread for wares. Not a lot of weapons for sale, however, except for the overpriced provisions of the armory. Dim candles barely light the room enough for me to see. It's Wilright the Elder sitting behind a desk with his shadows dancing on the wall by the tune of flickering lights. Would you lend your swords to me if I paid good coin? I need something valuable delivered safely to Gisbert the Guildmaster in Wolfhaven, about 2 days north of here. Men have killed each other over this, so you must be ready to defend it with your life. He takes pause. I will write a sealed letter with instructions to pay you as you deliver this item to my contact in Wolfhaven. What say you? I was thinking about payment for your task earlier. You'll receive 660 crowns when the contract is done. We accept. This wasn't the direction we had originally planned, but this is as good as any direction. Instead of heading straight north, we'll head west first, seeing if there's any goods on the road. Plus, we know that Cobmanhaven has been suffering from bandit attacks on the road. Trade caravans pass us from Uhlenkrog. Hopefully, they'll make their destination unharassed. No sign of recent bandit attacks around Cobmanhaven. Maybe it was exaggerated. The marketplace in Cobmanhaven is bustling, but the prices are terrible. Rumor has it that there's a necromancer lair, and they're wondering if I came across it somewhere on the plains to the south. Someone should hire me to burn that thing to the ground. There's nothing good coming from there, that's for sure. A quick round of drinks purchased for the men, and we're off to the north. Unfortunately for us, The goods and services here are overpriced. If we're going to make it to Wolfhaven, there's a lot of bushwhacking to be had in the Black Forest, known for its zombies and necromancers. The men contemplate going to the Brittle Hovel, where zombies have been previously spotted. Thank you for watching Battle Brothers, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 28th. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rodamont.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. I hope to catch you in the next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow sellswords.